Hey there folks, it's me TheTacticalBrit, and if you're like me right now in Warzone, using the FFAR is steadily degrading my soul, and I'm really tired of this meta, and I want something that's good and competitive whilst also not being instantly deleted by an FFAR. Now, in my quest to find a weapon superior to that, or in my quest to find something remotely competitive, I've actually stumbled across something which is really good, really competitive, and really strong, and that is the Ram 7. Now, this isn't clickbait, this isn't a joke, this isn't some sort of, use an RPG 7 and you'll definitely beat the FFAR. This is an actual build which has some statistical advantages over the FFAR in a lot of scenarios, and it feels fresh, it feels different, and I'd highly recommend it. In the background, you're going to see some pretty basic plunder gameplay of me using this weapon. I figured it's the best way for me to collate sort of gameplay of what this looks like and how this gun performs and give you guys a good idea. And this is, of course, controller gameplay as well on PC, so you can factor that in as well if you're a console player. Now, before I begin this video today, I want to give a quick shout out to my sponsor, shoutout.gg. If you're looking to get involved in some competitive Warzone tournaments, there is one coming up on the 16th of April and many more in the future as well. Use www.slayout.link/tacticalbrit or check out the link in the description below. You can also use code TACTICAL for a discounted entry on tournaments. Now, you may be wondering what exactly makes the Ram 7 special, and I've got some statistics here using the spec'd out FFAR meta build and the Ram 7 meta build, and this is done on true game data, which is really great for Warzone statistics. Now, there is a 40 millisecond difference in time to kill between these two weapons, the FFAR being slightly faster and having a slightly more lethal effect. They are very similar RPMs, and in terms of range and in other statistics, the Ram 7 often tends to beat the FFAR. Now, what makes the Ram 7 superior in some scenarios and why this gun can compete with the FFAR and sometimes even beat it is the statistics I'm about to show you. For example, the Ram 7's ADS speed is nearly half of that of the FFAR, with this current build being a monolithic suppressor, Ranger barrel, commando foregrip, 50 round mag, and tac laser. It also has very similar statistics in terms of sprint to fire time and in terms of tactical sprint to fire time, undercutting the FFAR. Now, of course, if you were to replace the field agent grip, which reduces horizontal recoil, with something like a Raider stock, then the FFAR would have slightly better statistics here, but it would also lose a lot of its accuracy over range, which is something that the Ram 7 is really strong at and basically has very little to no recoil. Now, if we move on down to bullet velocity, this is where things continue to get special for the Ram 7. 1,341 compared to 879. And you may be wondering, well, what does all of this mean and what does this statistically equate to? If we go to the base comparison stats here, the FFAR is definitely a little bit stronger in body, head, chest, and extremities, and the Ram 7 is definitely a little bit weaker. But if you go to the time to kill charts, this is where things get interesting. The FFAR here being in orange and the Ram 7 being here in pink. And here you can see that the FFAR has a superior setup throughout more or less all ranges by a very short amount, not a huge amount. But what gets really interesting is if you factor in the ADS speed. Now again, the Ram 7 is about twice as fast as the FFAR in terms of aiming down sight. So if we put this up to 100% ADS, and what this means is that it's a full from no ADS to full ADS, the Ram 7 actually beats the FFAR in terms of time to kill. It's pretty astounding that this is even possible, but up until about 40 meters, the Ram 7 is superior to the FFAR. There is a small period of time around the 40 to 50 meter mark where the FFAR is superior, and then the Ram 7 continues to dominate the time to kill. And of course, in terms of time to kill, lower here is better. And this is a pretty incredible statistic. This is with a full 250 health, full plates. It's pretty crazy if you think about it. And even in terms of a half ADS speed, at 50% here, the statistics are very close. So if they were half ADS as you ADS'd into them, the Ram 7 and FFAR trade blows. And even if you get lower and lower, the statistics are still pretty close. At a 20% ADS, the FFAR is only ever slightly above. But in all scenarios where the player in front of you has to aim down sight and you have to aim down sight with them, the Ram 7 will beat them in every single one of those scenarios, including all statistics to headshots, chest shots, and everything in between. Now, why this is impressive is because the RAM 7 actually has a number of statistical improvements over the FFAR. For example, the increase in bullet velocity and reductions in recoil mean that the RAM 7 is way more superior than the FFAR at range. You can pretty much accurately hit targets up until around 150 meters. And when you have the comparison chart here with the FFAR and RAM 7 with 100% ADS, it means that the RAM 7 around about the 40 meter onward mark is always going to be better than the FFAR because of that accuracy, because of that reduction of recoil, and because of the fact that it's easier to get headshots. Now, something worth mentioning here, which I haven't really mentioned throughout this entire video, is the fact that the RAM 7 is better in terms of headshots than the FFAR as well. And bearing in mind, with little recoil, easy to compensate recoil, and really solid bullet velocity, your bullets will hit the target faster than an FFAR in most scenarios. And what this really means in the grand scheme of things is that using a RAM 7 across range or even in close quarter scenarios, you will have a statistical advantage. And the crazy thing about all of this as well is that, again, the RAM 7 is really easy to aim. It doesn't have horizontal recoil to very little amounts of horizontal recoil, which means you can get very easy headshots, which tick into the multiplier and make life a lot easier. Even in a no-plate scenario, the RAM 7 is still superior across the board, given a 100% ADS time being necessary, and trades blows again even in the 50% region. You can see that the FFAR is still pretty close. So yeah, that's about it really. For once there is actually a challenger to the FFAR, and it's the RAM 7, who would have thought it? It's pretty impressive that this is here, and of course, you know, this doesn't necessarily mean that the FFAR is bad or that it's off meta. It means that the FFAR is still a great weapon, but what this does mean is that it does have a modern warfare competitor, and it finally has something that actually beats it at certain ranges, which is pretty much a statistical guarantee. And again, of course, with an FFAR marathon stock, you could definitely cut down some of the times on the RAM 7, but ultimately the statistics would very much remain the same. The RAM 7 can trade blows with an FFAR and in often many cases beat an FFAR. Of course, if you're both aiming down sight at the same time, the FFAR has a slight advantage here, and it's simply a case of who has the more accurate shots on target, who's better at getting the chest and headshots, and who can delete the other one quicker. And that's really all it comes down to. But for once, we have an actual usable alternative here. And yeah, I mean, I promised this website and this entire setup here wouldn't be clickbait, and we've absolutely achieved that. So definitely think about this. If you're somebody who is bored of the FFAR or wants a weapon that performs better over range than FFAR because of the damage, because of the range, because of the lack of recoil, then you have this option here in the RAM 7. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video today. It's been me, TheTacticalBrit. If you've enjoyed this and you want to check out the RAM 7, leave a like, leave a sub, and I'll catch you again in another video.